Hi everyone, it's Phil Seamer. I'm going to show you how I'm using Turnitin.com, how I've been using it this past year. And one of the things that I think is really important in teaching students to write is to make sure that they are going through the revision process. Writing really is not done when you put the last period in. It's always a good idea to go back and redo stuff and improve stuff. And that's something that I found students to be resistant to, but what leads to some of the best growth in their writing skill. So for that reason, I'm going to show you the way that I'm assessing, making some comments, and doing revision, but also how I'm looking at the revisions to make sure that I'm using my time well and being efficient. So I've changed the grade on this, but I'm just going to kind of show you some of the things that I do when I'm grading. I know it's easy when you're in Turnitin to have the text feature, which is just writing comments in like this. However, I've found that it's better to do the comment feature for a few reasons. So what you can do is highlight, and you can make your own Quickmarks, which you just push on like that. So you highlight and then go over to the other side and add them. If you do something that you don't actually want, you can delete it. And now when you put those comments in, it's also really nice that you can attach them to part of your rubric. So let's say I'm going to consider this organization having a good title. Now, once my students click on the rubric, it's going to flag all of the comments that I made. So when you see need your own title, he'll realize that that is influencing his score for organization. If you are doing the text marks on the page, you can't tie it to the rubric. So that's really nice because you have all your comments there, and it's tied to the rubric. They can see the descriptors of the rubric right there when they hover over. And you'll be able to see how many times you commented on development. So when you tie it to the rubric, you can just go like this and kind of skim and then make your selection. It's also nice if you end up having to stop halfway through a paper, you have everything right there so you can quickly refresh your memory. Now, the thing that I think is really great about this is when you do separate drafts. So once the next draft comes in, before you grade the previous draft, what you can do, before you grade the subsequent draft, you can look at the previous draft and say, okay, for development, I was looking at this. For language, I was looking at all of this. Skim, refresh your memory. Organization, refresh your memory. I didn't make any process comments because it was the first draft. And then you can go over to the final draft. And when you go over to originality, what you can do over here, down at the bottom, you can restore all the drafts. What that does is it causes the computer to consider previous drafts as plagiarizable drafts, which means it will highlight everything that's not new to this draft. So if I go through and I see no changes have been made, then I know that I can just go right back here and just put the same scores in for the rubric. Now this was actually kind of an interesting case because for this student, he just had some formatting problems on the works cited page, so I just had him fix that, and I actually didn't rescore this draft because I had scored a previous one, so this was just a draft to redo the works cited page. However, in a normal case, you'll have a few parts that are not highlighted, and you can quickly just skim to see, is the stuff that's not highlighted addressing the comments that I made here. And then when you grade the final draft, you don't actually have to read the whole thing. You can just kind of skim those parts that are not highlighted and see whether that would be adequate to move the student in the rubric. So anyway, I think that's a really good feature for a few reasons. So obviously you can make your own quick mark comments. So if you decide that there's nothing here that quite fits what you want to do, what you just do is highlight here, click on comment. Once you type, you say whatever, be more formal, then you can save it as a new quick mark and say formality, and you can put a criterion to it, let's say language, and it's all there, it's tied to the rubric. So although it maybe is a little more tedious in the sense of a few more clicks, and the students will have to hover over to see what the comments actually are, it really is helpful when you're using an embedded rubric and when you are doing subsequent drafts. So I would encourage you to do that because in the long run it's better for the process of writing, for teaching that process, and for the clarity of feedback. Thanks.